Hello, IK World. This is Alphaba, currently on S21 with my main. Right here I am. And I would like to talk to you today about dead castle farming. Well, what is a dead castle? If you've been playing this game any length of time, you probably know that it is a abandoned castle that has no alliance that you harvest for resources. You may have noticed that people tend to use farming for when you hit a castle for resources, and they use gathering for when you go to a resource node to just gather resources. When we are dead castle farming, you definitely want to check about your server rules. Make sure that you understand where you can do this, where you can't, if there are any faction limitations on where you can go or who you can hit and all that kind of stuff. On S21, we dropped the rule that kept us out of each other's territories so that we could dead castle farm more efficiently. So I can go anywhere I like, which gives me the option of a random teleport. I can hit any castle I want so long as it has no alliance, and I can be anywhere I want in all over the map. Now, random teleport's not so good if you are limited to your own color, so definitely check that out first. In items, you probably have a ton of random teleports that don't get used for a whole lot of things, so they probably build up and you have lots in there. And they're the ones with a question mark. And I'm in a random teleport, and I have troops out constructing somewhere, so it's no big deal that I have left them behind. Now, you never know what you're going to get, so it's good to look around first and see if this is a good spot before you enter rage by attacking a castle. Maybe bookmark a few things so you can get back to them easily. And a grid search is a good idea, so I'm going to go a screen out and then go up until it says I'm about 50 kilometers, give or take, because if you go, too far, you're using too much AP. The farther you go, the more AP you use. And we can't zoom out all the way because then we can't tell if they're in an alliance. And since we have to only hit things that are out of an alliance, we will zoom in just enough to be able to tell. And I am just looking at a reasonable amount of AP away, and once I've gone up that much, I'm going to come back down, and there's somebody who's got potential. It's 60 kilometers. That's not too far. I'm going to bookmark it so I can come back to it later. Now, once I've decided whether that's a good guy to come back and hit again on another day, I will change the bookmark to be more informative than just that name. But for now, so I can come back if I get enough good bookmarks, I'm just going to leave it alone. And normally I go a little faster, but don't want you to get a headache from me zooming around too much. So I'm just kind of scanning a little slower than normal. And I've kind of reached the limit of how far I want to go. So there's another one, Will Smurf. So let's bookmark him. Might be good enough to come back to. And I'm going to go zoom back to my castle and grid search over but down this time. And that way I can kind of cover the whole workable area around me. I tend to look for people who are C30 or higher. The closer to C40, the better the resources. So definitely not worth AP to hit small stuff unless you are small. I'm 42, so C42, so I'm not going to go too small. But if you're only a C30, you could go down to maybe a C20. Just kind of depends. You'll kind of figure it out when you see how many resources you get. But even higher castles are fine because they don't have any troops left if they're really dead. So I went back up until the arrow pointed sideways. That tells me that I got level with my castle. And I don't think that's one that I bookmarked earlier, but I can go back and see that I did not, so I will go ahead and bookmark him. And as I say, later on, if it's a good castle to hit, you want to change that bookmark to be more informative. You might put the castle level, or how many times you hit it, or what city territory it's in, something that helps you make sense of it later on. Because if you mark it somehow so you can tell that, oh, all these castles were kind of close together, then you know, hey, that's a great place to go back to. Whereas if you have bookmarked stuff and there's only a couple in that area, then you're like, it's probably not worth going back to and wasting a teleport. So that one's really close to my castle, so that would be a definite winner. Very little AP. And I won't bore you with all the searching, but that's kind of the general gist of how you come up with a list. Oh, there's a C40, so this is looking to be a decent area. So now that I've decided it's a decent enough area, and there's even one that's close to me right there, I'm going to start sending marches out. I will go ahead and send all my marches that are available out. Like I said, I have one guy constructing, so I'm limited to 3. But if I had all 4 marches, I'd have them all going at the same time and analyzing as I go. And when I say analyzing as I go, I want to look at how much prosperity damage I did, and then look at how much prosperity they have left every single time. Right now, he's got full prosperity. But after I've hit him, if I've done 5,000 prosperity damage, I will want to make sure that I never hit him so much that it goes to 0. That means if it's getting close to 5,000, I stop hitting him, because if he's that good of a castle that I can hit him over and over again and still be getting resources, I don't want to force teleport it and lose it. I want it to stay put so that I can come back and visit it later. So I'm going to look at this report and see how much damage did I do to him. Oh, 6,000 and a bit. So if I'm going to hit him again, I am going to make sure that I stop somewhere around 7,000. And I probably will hit him again if he had enough resources to make it worth my while. Now you can kind of see that I got a decent amount of resources, but the iron is pretty low, and the resource levels that I got are different for each one. If he was really full, I would have gotten all those numbers to be pretty much the same. This kind of tells me that maybe he's not so good to go back to, and I probably don't want to waste AP going back to him. So let's go to that other one that wasn't too far, C40. He's probably got really good resources, because he didn't get to C40 without. Now, we're not talking about resources in his warehouse. We're talking about the resources that build up in your inside your castles and the little tiles. You know, when it's a dead castle, they all fill up and turn yellow. And if you hit it, that's pretty much where you're getting those resources from. So if they're a higher castle level, they've gotten those resource tiles to a higher level, and they will build up higher. If they're a low castle, you will get less. So higher castle, good. And just because you're small doesn't mean that you can't hit a large dead castle, because like I say, if they are truly a dead castle, they have no troops, and you're just needing to get through their wall. So there can't be a huge discrepancy, otherwise you won't get through their wall. But you could go quite a bit higher than what your current castle level is. So let's see, we've got another 33 seconds. So I will go back to one of those others. Like I say, normally I've got all the marches going, and the bookmark helps me to get back there quickly. And there was another one before that one. And if I had a 4th march available, I'd be going to that very first one that I bookmarked over there. But we will see what we will see when I get to the closer one shortly, which just happened. There's my report, and that was the C40. I did about the same amount of damage, but you can see that all the resources are the same. That means that I got as much as I could possibly carry. And that means there might be more there. So that's definitely going to be a place I go back to. And just click that link right there in the report. It takes me right back. I have to wait for a march to get back. I'm not going to waste a recall on that. But now that I know that he's a decent castle, I might rename that bookmark so that it's more meaningful to me later. So let's see where I am. I am currently in Endrop. So I might name it with that, as well as his castle level, changing the name. And once I've emptied him, I might even put how many trips I took, like ×2, ×3, whatever it worked out to be, so that I can tell, hey, I want to go back there because I got a ton from that one place, or it's not worth it because I only went once and then he was empty. Now, you can't really tell he's empty ahead of time without scouting him, and it's not worth the gold to scout him. AP is free. You have to wait for it, but it is free. The gold takes way more work, so I am going to just simply attack him again and hope that I get that much again. And if I don't, then I just don't go back anymore. So, your dead castle farming, if you have the time to spend, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, an afternoon, you can really fill up your resources, which I desperately need for all kinds of upgrades. I'm pretty low. And once you get up to a certain castle level, you need millions and millions and millions and millions. I have done this in an area that I'd already scouted out several times and had all kinds of bookmarks, and been able to get a full warehouse that started to throw resources away because it was so full. I've gotten pretty close to 100 million of each resource doing this in an afternoon. Now, this guy who I just went to, way over there, I probably spent, a good amount of AP to get there, and I didn't get great stuff. It's not bad, but it's all over the place, which kind of tells me that he's not worth going back to. Again, if it's worth going back to, it's going to look more like that one, where all the resources are the same because they were full and you took as much as you could. So waiting for a march won't make you wait for a march, but I probably will go back to that one. And that is the crux of Dead Castle Marching. I hope you learned something. Bye-bye.